How you doing, Mr. Zack?
Hey, Kelby, it's good to see you.
Um, Mr. Zack, do you have to deal with any shenanigans today?
I think every teacher goes through shenanigans with students. Sometimes you want to teach students, and it isn't always easy. I would say the shenanigans the teachers at this school experience most often is challenges with keeping kids in class and not in the hallways. I would say any given class period, if I have 16 students, right, I'll have 10 students ask me to use the restroom, right? And really, only three can go because they're not allowed to go in the first 10 minutes of class. They're not allowed to go in the last 10 minutes of class. Then we also can't let them go during direct instruction, or else they won't learn the lesson, right? And so if they miss what they need to understand the activity, then they also can't go then. So during independent work time is the best time for students to go. And that's around a 15-minute to 20-minute window. So there's a 20-minute window in every class when students can really use the restroom. What often happens is, there'll be 10 kids who want to go. There's three spots, really, maybe four if the kids move quickly. And so sometimes whenever you say, hey, this isn't time, like you need to go during the passing period, um, they'll get mad. Sometimes they'll leave without permission. Sometimes they'll argue in a way that halts instruction. And sometimes, like kids, like if you don't watch the doorway, they will slip out early, right? So if you talk to someone about a problem they're having in the last 5 minutes of class, and you turn away from the door, they might leave, right? So the encounter I had today, I had a student try to leave early. I told them like, hey, on Rugby Wednesday, class ends at 12:20. You cannot leave yet. And the student wanted to leave anyway, and they argued with me, and I got frustrated, and they were frustrated. And ultimately, it's such a small thing, but because this is March and school doesn't end until June, right? We have one full quarter of school left, and we want to keep kids encouraged, we want to keep them in class, we want to keep them learning. And so when things start to slide in March, by April and June, things can get a lot harder, right? And so I'm really trying to keep things tight, keep the kids engaged and still excited, but um, they are so ready for summer.
What have you done to make your class fun?
Dude, fun is hard. I'll be honest, fun is hard.
Mhm.
Like in English class, we have a lot that we want to accomplish. We have goals that are connected with what our progress levels are. And Miss Colt and I work really hard to communicate with kids. Like, here's where you're at, and here's where you need to go. And we create a plan with every kid, and our goal is to help them reach their goals, right? Because ultimately, we need to be literate, and we need to be able to read and write in order to be successful in this country, right? This is a country where education is really important. This is a city where things are really expensive. And when you learn to read and write, that can save your life, that can save someone else's life, that can give you opportunities that you wouldn't otherwise have, right? And school is free, right? Like, it is free to come here. And when kids pursue education after high school, it then becomes very expensive, right? And so I think we all just feel this. We want to make the most of our time while we have it. Like you are in this room right now. I don't assign homework, but when we're in this classroom, we have stuff we need to get done.
Right.
And so, is it fun? Yeah. Sometimes we're having class discussions. Sometimes we're reading plays. We're acting them out. Sometimes, we're just reading something and it's beautiful. And I'm like, I'm on the verge of tears. I'm having fun. But I recognize that people like different things. And if reading isn't the thing that fills your heart with joy, you're still a good person, right? I understand that, right? So my goal is less on fun and more on just like, this is going to get easier. Like the more we practice it, the more you utilize this feedback, you're going to get better, right? It's like getting strong. Like running isn't easy, but the more we run, the faster we get. And that's how reading is like. That's how writing is like, right?
Right. All right. Now switching topic. As we know, Mr. Zack, you are a member of the LGBTQ community,
I am an LGBT person. That is true.
and we know that in this school, students like to make fun of those teachers. I remember back in 10th grade when I was your student, I used to hear students behind your back, they would be joking with their friends. They would be saying, like, he's gay and stuff like. And we know that in this school, there's some students, most of them who are part of the community, like calling themselves bisexual, or if not, non binary. Um, so, what is your opinion on students who possibly may be part of the community because they're queer, right? But still feel like feel like a bit of disgust being around adults who are part of the community?
It's a tough question, right? Like I think that um, we all grow up in our household, right? We all grow up with family, and we all grow up with community. And we come to school, and that's a new community, right? So if your whole life, when you go home to your house, when you go to places like church, and maybe you're told things about LGBT people being dangerous or being immoral or not going to heaven or anything like that, right? Like if you tell your child, even if you've heard since you were 4 years old that two boys holding hands is wrong, if that's what you've been told your whole life, I don't think that it's unusual to be like a little weirded out when you meet someone who challenges the values that your family has tried to give you, right? Or that your church or your community has tried to give you, right? And so I recognize that students sometimes might feel a little bit uncomfortable around me, and that my existence, my presence can be a little bit like new for them, right? Like I think for a lot of students, they have had a lot, like there are a lot of LGBT teachers who work in our school. I am not, by 10th grade, the first LGBT teacher that students have had. But I am a black man, and I'm very, very open. Like the very first day of school, every single year, I tell students very openly, I'm gay, I have a husband, this is who I am. I do that because I think that everyone needs to know someone LGBT, right? Whatever your values are, whatever you believe in, like we exist in the world. We are between 10% and maybe 25%. There are a lot of queer people, right? Um, depending on how we define things with our labels, but you're not uncommon, right? In every single classroom, there are multiple queer people, right? And so I think it's important that we refuse to be invisible. And I think that kids are going to have problems with it. I especially have a lot of boys who have a problem with it, especially boys who want to be tough or are struggling with their own masculinity. I think that part of them is like worried that because they struggle with their masculinity, they're like me. But here's the thing, like, you're either like me or you're not like me, right? Like, you struggling with your masculinity, stop being so insecure, right? I am not insecure about my masculinity, right? So just accept yourself. And I think that once these kids start to feel more confident in who they are, once they start to feel like they're enough, they'll stop like weaponizing their insecurity against others. Because I think there's a lot of that, right? Like I don't feel like I'm a man, right? And so I'm going to punch down on anyone who doesn't fit my vision of masculinity or how to exist in this world. So I hope that my students who are struggling with homophobia, whether it's internalized because they are a little fruity or because they get teased. There are some kids who are not even queer; but they're just teased because they're unique, right? It's like so they're unique people who, like Prince. Like Prince was, a musical artist who was very much a straight man, but he wore high heels. He dressed flamboyantly, kind of acted a little fruity sometimes, and he was super homophobic, right? I think he was probably homophobic because of the time period he grew up in, but also he might have been struggling with parts of himself too, right? So even while he was being brave to be a little different, he was also being homophobic, right? And so I think that masculinity is a struggle that straight people experience, and I think that it's okay to struggle, like experience struggle, but what is not okay is just to make fun of someone. Here's what I'll say is interesting. Students rarely say anything homophobic to my face. What I think they often will do is they'll be laughing for no reason, and I'll call them on it like, "What's funny?" And like I know that there's probably some sort of homophobic remark that's been made, but hey, I didn't hear it, so I'm not going to make accusations about something I didn't even hear. But I have a brain. Like I can intuit what may have been said, even if I didn't hear it directly. And yeah, just maturity. Like when they get older, I think they get over it. And even over the course of a school year, right? Like from the September and August to May and June, kids get over it. Like I'm a full person. Even if you have like a problem with one small part of me, well, I also don't like your T-shirt. Like your T-shirt is ugly. Like maybe I don't like 100% of all of you all the time, but you don't have to like 100% of me to recognize that you can learn something in my classroom. you know? And so I hope that that's what kids realize and take away. I hope that, having a queer teacher who is proud of being queer, who is not embarrassed, like, I love my husband, I love my gayness, I'm not ashamed at all. I hope that it makes kids accept themselves more too, right? Whatever that is, like maybe they are going through insecurities. And so I want everyone to feel confident in who they are.
All right. So, as we know, there is a gender sexuality alliance at the school. Would you like to tell us what is going on? Like, how many students are members of the group?
I would say across the whole school year, we have had upwards between 15 and 20 students who have gone to our meetings. I have a lot of students who are trans and non-binary in the club. I have a lot of students who are bisexual and pansexual in the club. Um, I've had gay males in it, but not as many. And I've had lesbians in it, but not as many. I would say there's a lot of trans students, a lot of non-binary students, and a lot of bi and pansexual students who are
And
in the club actively.
they feel safe at this school.
They report like a lot of teasing. They report like a lot of like homophobic, biphobic, like they've expressed like both within their friend groups, and then also in certain environments like on sports teams, they've reported like a lot of like athletes using homophobic slurs. Often they say they hear a lot of things in the hallway, and they hear that a lot of adults are not addressing homophobia, transphobia, biphobia effectively with students, and so they feel sometimes like our school could do a better job protecting them. And they also share that a lot of their friends are religious. They have close friends who are very religious and a little bit conservative because of those values that they learn at church or from their parents. And so it's like we get along in most ways, like me and my friends, but they don't fully accept me. I have a lot of students who go through that. A lot of students struggling with their parents as well.
Um, wow, it's it's very rough. Do you have any message for every student?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so kids, here's my message for you. No matter who you are, right? No matter what makes you unique or different, your differences are a superpower, right? What makes you weird, what makes you loud, what makes you too much, what makes you too quiet, any of that is cool, right? So just own what makes you unique because you are special, right? And it is so fun to just be yourself without apologizing. And so I want to see more of y'all just like embracing who you are and um, just being a diva or just being like having fun, right? To just own who you are. Um, yeah. And happy Pride Day.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. No problem, Kelvin.